Began in gospel and went on to ask, alongside the lovely Cilla Black, what's it all about, Alfie? She tells Elaine Litworth what she thinks life's all about.
Dionne, it's lovely to meet you. We're here at the Firehouse recording studio in Pasadena, which is now attracting some of the world's greatest musicians, like yourself.
Thank you.
Times must have changed enormously, though, in the music industry since you began.
Undoubtedly, you know, it's very rarely are you using real live musicians, people that breathe the music, and that's really what gives the impetus to making a wonderful recording. All the love in the world won't take me away from you. My love is stronger, and what you made me all the...
You also have a new book, My Point of View.
Yes.
Why did you decide to do that book? It's photographs and your own writing.
Yes, my point of view is basically anecdotes and pearls of wisdom that were shared with me, for me. And I felt that, you know, if it was shared with me, why not share it with others?
You are really interested in inspiring people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as much as I was inspired, I think it's only fair to pass that on.
When you started, what made you want to be a musician? Was it something that you were born with, do you think?
Yes, exactly. I had no choice. I was born into a musical family. My entire family sings. And so, as the old saying goes, the apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. So singing has always been a part of my life, and it always will be.
You started off in gospel.
Yes.
Do you think that the spiritual aspect of music was important to you?
Well, I come from a gospel singing family. My entire family sings gospel. My grandfather was a minister. I grew up in the church, grew up singing music in the church. So it was just a natural evolution of things.
Tell me about your faith and what it means to you. What exactly do you believe? Is it
I don't exist without God. God is first and foremost. None of us exist without God. I mean, that's my belief. I'm not going to force my belief on you, of course. It's just a way of my life, and something that I take very seriously and enjoy. So, God is everything.
Dionne, have you ever had a time where you felt that your faith has been challenged?
Never.
Or founded?
Never.
How do you do that? Why do you think that is? Is it just kind of it's complete and blinkered, or?
I have a true belief in what I believe. I mean, it's really that simple.
What are your views on afterlife? I know that for a long time you fronted the Psychic Network. Do you believe that there is more than meets the eye, that there is an afterlife or reincarnation?
Well, I believe that Jesus Christ will come and walk this earth again and gather his children. I believe that.
In a practical way, do you go to church? Do you pray on a regular basis?
I go to church, yes I do, as often as I possibly can with my schedule. It's virtually impossible most times. Yes, I do pray. I pray frequently. Prayer is, if you believe in prayer, is completely the answer.
How does it help you? An example?
I'll give you a complete example. Both my mom and my sister both were hospitalized in July. My sister, we almost lost her. And through the power of prayer, and that's what I truly believe is the only reason that she is with us today.
Going back to the early days of your career, when you crossed over from gospel into pop music, what did your family think about you moving into an arena where you were singing for the dollar instead of the Lord?
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. I'm still singing for the Lord, regardless of what I sing. Without this gift that he gave me, I would not be able to do what I do. So apparently I'm doing what he intended for me to do. There was no problem at all. My grandfather was my biggest fan, and he was a minister. And his attitude was, and happens to be mine, that as long as I'm using my gift in the fashion that I should, and earning a decent living, it's okay.
Did you see some things that shocked you when you
You know
started
what?
up?
I came along, I was very, very fortunate. I came along during a period of time where we had icons in our industry, and they embraced me. People like Marlene Dietrich and Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole. These were the people that embraced me. So what I saw was where I wanted to go and where I wanted to be and the things I wanted to sing and wanted to do.
During your career with Burt Bacharach in the Heartbreaker time, you have made the most fantastic records that have meant the world to people for generations. What was it? Was it just kind of a special formula of you working with them?
Well, we were known as the triangle marriage that worked. And it was quite something different in the industry. Bacharach and Davis set the bar for me. And everyone that has written a song for me understands that, and they adhere to it.
Well, Dionne, thanks very much. And we'll be back to talk to you a little bit later about your charity work and your life in Brazil.
Okay.
Dionne, welcome back. You've been involved in a lot of charity work over the years. What projects are you specifically engaged in?
You name it, I'm doing it.
You never stop. I know you've been involved with AIDS campaigns
Absolutely.
for a long time. Does it ever make you wonder whether there is a God or about the existence of God when you see so much pain and suffering inflicted by a disease like AIDS?
No, I don't wonder. I don't question. You know, if that's His will, that's His will. And we're just going to have to live with it and do whatever we can to make it an easier path to follow. And in order for us to negate it, we're going to have to stand hand in hand to do something about it.
Were those early days of your AIDS campaigning greeted with any hostility when people didn't understand?
Oh, they thought I was nuts. They thought I was completely insane. Of course not. How can you care when you're trying to help someone that is helpless? And I've always been one to stand up and speak my mind.
Among everything else, I know that you're passionate about Black American history, and you're actually writing a book on the subject. What got you to do that?
I think, and I've always felt, that I know so much about you through history, through European history, and through American history. And yet, it was as if I sprouted up out of the ground. There's no history for me. I don't know anything about me. And nor do you. And I think it's time you learned about me. I think that's really the key to peace, is understanding each other.
It doesn't sound like you're bitter, though, about the fact that there was no Black American history for you
I am.
when you
I'm
grew
very
up.
angry about that. I really am. You know, I'm angry about the fact that I've been negated. How can you? How dare you? My history is too rich for you not to know about me. It's your loss.
You've been quite outspoken about rap music, and yet rap music, of course, comes in some ways, many ways, from R&B, and it's also predominantly Black musicians. Why do you object to a lot of it?
Well, a lot of it, there's a lot of it I don't object to. The ones that I did and still do object to are the ones that are misogynistic, are demeaning, and have no place, I feel, on the airwaves for my babies to hear and to emulate. I mean, why do you have to curse at me to get a message across to me?
Do you think in some ways that we've lost track of family values?
In some ways. We've lost track of family values in every way. It just doesn't seem to exist anymore, and it's such a sad state. We're in an age where everything is so rapid. I think it's gotten to the point where we're running past ourselves. We don't take time to understand what it is that we're doing. You know, we've really got to get back to being human beings.
You spend a lot of time at the moment in Brazil, or you live in Brazil.
That's right.
Why not America anymore?
I still live in America, too. I live in New Jersey as well. I have found in Brazil what is missing here in the States at this moment for me. The true sense of family, the love and respect for elders and children, the strong belief in God and no shame in letting you know that. All the things that I grew up learning and knowing, I've found again in Brazil.
When you come back to America, is it a disappointment, or do you still find hope and optimism here?
Oh, there's plenty of hope and optimism here. You know, there's no way in the world that a country as great as this is. And it really is a great country. It just needs to refocus a little bit, that's all.
What do you teach your children and grandchildren?
Well, it's not that I teach them. I think that they learn by example. And, you know, we all have got to just kind of start looking in the mirror at ourselves, because our babies are really a reflection of us.
Dionne, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
My pleasure, thank you.
Well done, Elaine, and that magical voice is beautiful even when she's just speaking. Dionne there. Back now to